So Scott, welcome to Crypto Corner. Could you maybe to start off, give us a bit of an intro about yourself, bit of background, and then talk about how you got involved with AscendEX?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Sam. I initially got into crypto like most people as kind of a fun hobby. It was 2015 near the end of so I began interested in what Bitcoin was offering more from a financial standpoint. Quickly in 2016 saw a proliferation of other projects coming to market. I myself stayed involved rather, pretty much from the sideline, I would say, for another year or two after things really went downhill in 2018. I did pay attention a bit more in school from a technical perspective, had some friends that were digging into things. And then I began working a bit more with other VCs. So I initially was working with a VC based out of Boston, where I'm from. And then from there, they had tokenized their fund. So that was a very interesting aspect of the security token era and how things really initialized in bear market, if you will. From that aspect, I joined AscendEX under the proxy of doing token listing research. For me, this was a very interesting opportunity to get involved with the cutting edge of where projects were transitioning from primary to secondary market and what that meant for their trading future and what that meant as the value of the blockchain network really explained itself in the public.
Now, talking of AscendEX, could you just give the viewers, listeners, a bit of an idea of what AscendEX does and sort of how it helps people get into crypto?
Of course, AscendEX is a global digital asset platform that enables full exchange trading, both spot and derivatives of assets for over 300 different projects. This expands both major large cap coins like Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, etc., as well as smaller cap coins. And a lot of those smaller cap coins are stuff that we help facilitate the go-to-market for. AscendEX itself oftentimes is listing cutting edge projects across the DeFi, the NFT, and other spaces that are emerging with retail communities. For us, another aspect to really focus on has been the earn side of things. Users at these points in time with DeFi and other points of accessibility to yield generation products has really been expanded upon. And so in the competitive landscape that centralized exchanges are in, it's important that retail has the ability on AscendEX to really pull themselves up from what is traditionally just $1 to earn yield on that and to be able to then trade it additionally and continue expressing their market opinions.
Zooming out a bit, could you talk a bit about how you see crypto's evolving role in the world?
Yeah, absolutely. The recent sentiment, right, of global, reword that. Trying to think. The recent sentiment of global tensions and really what we've seen even the past couple of decades has put a burden on those with a lack of financial independence, and emerging nations all over the world struggle not only with things like seizures and foreclosures of financial entities, but also massive inflationary sort of pressures on markets that we've seen in South America and across other sort of areas in Europe and Asia as well. Beyond that, I think crypto allows a much broader point of accessibility to full stack financial products. These are instruments, obviously, such as derivatives and wider spot markets, being lending, borrowing too. But it really brings together what we like to see, the emerging nations having access to, and going from 0 to 1 with their own personal finance, being able to save responsibly, being able to invest responsibly. Having a myriad of options that crypto does bring retail and bring communities to is really positive, and the expansion of that is something that we really want to promote.
Given the disruptive nature of crypto and you hear the term misinformation a lot these days, where do you think people should go for the most reliable info on cryptocurrency and digital assets? Sort of who do you consider the most trustworthy voices in the space?
It's a great question. I think the emerging institutions that are crypto native have proved to be great sources. Of course, many of these are centralized entities. Some of these are figureheads from decentralized personas or decentralized protocols even. I don't think in crypto there is one centralized source, right? It is an aggregation, does best taking individual points from all over the spectrum and really boiling them down to what makes sense in the longer term. I think because we are still in such the early phases of what crypto adoption means across the entire world, forming personal opinions and taking the longer term bets has proven to be a much better play than shorter term type of inefficiencies and short steps.
Great. Scott, do you have anything else you want to add about AscendEX or the crypto space more generally?
I think generally, the crypto space will continue to evolve and change over time, right? We've seen so much, even since, the past 2-3 years in form of decentralized finance and how people can access different primitives that otherwise wouldn't have been so easy to get to. AscendEX itself wants to continue to bring these to market. These types of ideas are what excite us and what we want to continue pushing upon retail communities right now that are with us and retail communities that will be with us soon.